just one round. Let the oppressed rise, and let the rich mourn till the sundown. Enough with these chickens, about to make it hot, call it compound. This for my niggas, put the guns in the drugs down. Dwelling in peace till the Lord call for the bloodhounds. Try to decide my death and got beside yourself. Swore drawn for what you perform, how you gon' hide yourself? Devil's got to die for his lies and his visions. Ain't got no love for them crackers, nah, just cruel intentions. And in my father's house is spinning mansions. I got plenty bitches, worthy of vengeance. This your death sentence. I'm talking to you. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter. That they do not rise and fill the world with lies. Ain't die for your skin, you gon' die for your crime. That's right. I'm talking to you. So warn for your life. Your life try to destroy my people. You gotta pay the price, nigga. You gotta hear, let them hear. Till the devils that the end is near. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah. Now they shook from vicious words out this handbook. Bout to take these rappers back to school. My flow sand and hook. They crossed the line, ain't no coming back. You became no cowards. The only thing sweet is the honey check. Righteous is the Lord. Give me rest from my sorrow. And hand down death for them devils. There's no tomorrow. Why? Cause they violence leave a man a stiff corpse. You see a flag in a badge, I see horns in a pitchfork. Go ahead. So please believe it, the white man is a demon. And I ain't gon' vote for them to free me. No. They beat us till we, the color purple, that's why this knife to they throat like ceiling. You got this nigga on his knees. They wanna have peace. We screaming, let this bitch burn at 1,000 degrees. I'm laying in the bosom of revenge. I told her I'd do anything she please as I squeeze on the double D's. Fuck you mean? I'm talking to you. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter. That they do not rise and fill the world with lies. Ain't die for your skin, you gon' die for your crime. That's right. I'm talking to you. So warn for your life. Your life try to destroy my people. You gotta pay the price, nigga. You gotta hear, let them hear. Till the devils that the end is near. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah.
The police just shot him for no apparent reason. No reason at all. They asked for license and registration. That's the police officer over there that did it. With the black on. I can't really do shit because they got me handcuffed. I can't believe they just did this. I'm fucking
It's okay, I'm not here with you.
Test 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. The Lord said, confession good for the soul. So right now,
all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster and shot call. To be known with them niggas letting shots off. Either that or the right hand to the top dog. Funny how we see vanity, not the lives lost. Can't be focused on a life that's hopeless. Out there pumping, not knowing the Lord will kill you for that hocus pocus. Used to roll with niggas that cook dope with weaponry. Same ones claim they love you, I had your life in jeopardy. And I know my mother wants success for me, but that G should take a girl straight to ecstasy. Remember running with bruh, even though we did the wrong thing. My life would've been a lot different if I fell up under Rob's wing. Was too sincere for a wicked game. Shame the Lord's name, now we afflicted with pain. All I ever wanted was to be respected by stand-up niggas, not knowing that them handcuffs custom made the face. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. I ain't lying, I was close to dying. Knew I wanted to live, but I wasn't trying. I was defiant, not knowing that this ain't how we live. This just how they design it. Cause when you in them streets, you get more endemic. They don't tell you gonna be on papers and on restrictions. My father said a hard head to make a soft ass. I didn't care, I wanted fear when I walked past. In a place where a black man's blood is cheap, I thank the Lord for the day I was on Lake Street. Pissing in the cup, back and forth to court. Found the DC school, I swear it felt like I crawled on that fucking porch. The Lord said, my sheep, they ain't hear my voice. Asked me why I'm UPK, I told them I ain't have a choice. They said God ain't 50-50 and what's gonna come to pass. The Lord called me out the world and I started running fast. All I wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. Go ahead. All I wanted was to be a gangster. Isupk until it hit the fan. I want power and a throne, nigga, fuck them grams. All I wanted was to be a gangster, but I was real as a righteous man. And now got the upper hand, gotta promote this brand. Correct whole multitudes until they all understand. If I can't get that crown, Lord, then put me in the hands of someone more mighty, make me this hit man. Reminiscing on the pain that was felt. Shit, I was in the jam. Shit, I needed help. But Twan was locked up and the judge put man on the shelf. Had me crying cause it felt like I was left by myself. All I wanted was to impress niggas with my grinding. Now I ain't trying to prove shit to nobody but Muhammad. Cause most these niggas lie, pump smoke. One time for the most high, he made me a cutthroat. Cause all I ever wanted was to smash my opponent. Stacking cash, not knowing it wouldn't last. Dear God, I hope you accept my atonement. Cause all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was a gangster. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was a gangster. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a
Yeah. I stay away from the streets and the trouble to get in. Trying to stay strong in this world full of sin, but they wanna bring us down, they wanna see us win. They wanna kill us all, Lord, tell me, can I live? Can a nigga live? Can I live? Can a nigga live? Lord, tell me, can I live? I know the hatred's deeper than the color of your skin. So can I live? Can a nigga live? Can I live? Can a nigga live? Lord, tell me, can I live? Know the hatred's deeper than the color of your skin. Can I live?
America, KKK, land of the good smokers, home of the slaves. And I'm just trying to be great. Tell me, how can I live with this drama every day? I'm a light, I'm a beam in this darkness. It seems that real life is a nightmare. Can I live my dreams on this earth? Since I was young, I realized I had a destiny bigger than the fake shit that's disguised as what was best for me. Better than the hate and all the lies that be the death of me. As of late, since we've been hypnotized since elementary, thought it was my skin, but studied something that was new to me. They hate me cause of what my ancient ancestors used to be. Healers, teachers, deities, not all of them were kings and queens. Our nature was natural, not supernatural. Now they call it magic and voodoo, that shit ain't practical. All the roots connected, always more to learn of that, you know. Don't let the shit go over your head. Same snakes up in the garden, but the skin just shed. They'll always try to convince you that it's all in your head. Just know you gotta do better before you hit your bed. I stay away from the streets and the trouble to get in. Trying to stay strong in this world full of sin, but they wanna bring us down, they don't wanna see us win. Trying to kill us all, Lord, tell me, can I live? Can a nigga live? Tell me, can I live? Can a nigga live? Lord, tell me, can I live? I know that hatred's deeper than the color of our skin. Can I live? Can a nigga live? Lord, tell me, can I live? Can a nigga live? Tell me, can I live? I know that hatred's deeper than the color of our skin.
Yeah.
Can I live?
They say my rhymes cause too much excitement. Ride incitement, shit, well there's no indictments when my kinfolk get murdered by white men. Dark skin, light skin, divided and blinded. So we beef with each other, our brothers, rather than fight them. Fuck all that silence, it's time to get shit ignited. I ain't my way, low nigga, I ain't taking shit from no tars. And ain't no motherfucking nation got freedom from marching, begging for portions. Niggas ain't signing no parchments, big payback. You crackers got red in your margins, why? They broke every treaty, slaughtered the buffalo, and then they set fire to teepees. They carved their face in mountains, but we go to jail for graffiti. We fought for this country, they gave us syphilis at Tuskegee. We been getting robbed, yeah, we're the ones who stay behind bars. They take all our money, but they ain't wanna give us no jobs. Wasn't supposed to make it, but we stayed defying the odds. It's like we really only living off the grace of our God. Can I live without getting harassed by the Sarge? Can I live without getting slammed on my car? Can I live long enough to raise my kids? Can I live long enough to see justice? Yo, can I live without getting harassed by the Sarge? Can I live without getting slammed on my car? Can I live long enough to raise my kids? Can I live long enough to see justice? I stay away from the streets and the trouble to get in. Trying to stay strong in this world full of sin, but they wanna bring us down, they wanna see us win. They wanna kill us all, Lord, tell me, can I live? Can a nigga live? Can I live? Can a nigga live? Lord, tell me, can I live? I know the hatred's deeper than the color of your skin. So can I live? Can a nigga live? Can I live? Can a nigga live? Lord, tell me, can I live? Know the hatred's deeper than the color of your skin. Can I live?
It's rolling on it. What is it?
True story.
The following is based on real events.
Yo. She didn't care for the Yeezys and the Jordans. Tired of the lies pastors told over organs. Her father just passed, so her heart had a dent. She would struggle with her mother to come up with the rent. Pastor only wanted dollars, something make sense. Till she heard a little story that went something like this. What's your nationality? Come and get a flyer. Do you know we got a dark-skinned Messiah? The devil is deceitful and the white man is a liar. Now she wanna study just to get her knowledge higher. A few months passed and she ain't one with her mother. Since she started learning, they would argue with each other. My mother doesn't understand, I'm not in the code. She needs to respect my decisions as an adult. This is a nice place where nobody will hurt you. Everything's so pretty and we're all wearing purple. It's been a few months, she found a man of the Lord. One who's steady in the word, always sharpening his sword. Stimulates her mind so she never gets bored. Talks to her like a princess and never like a whore. Got her thinking that there's more than only getting the draws. He's such a gentleman, always opening doors. Took her on a date, paid for everything in the stores. From dinner to Michael Kors, he's like, have it, it's yours. She can't believe it, it's all but a dream. Everything is beautiful, all peaches and cream. She says to herself, I'm happy I joined this group. It makes me feel good, I finally found the truth. These other groups, always talking about polygyny. But I found a real man who says he's only into me. What a nice place where nobody will hurt you. Everything's so pretty and we're all wearing purple. Then one night on their way home, she seen something she ain't like when she went through his phone. Is this why you said that it's hard to take care of me? You wasn't gonna say you got a whole family? I don't understand how you think this fair to me. I've been sharing you, but you ain't been sharing me. Why won't you answer me? But he's thinking carefully. He tried to calm her down, don't get hype. Couldn't diffuse the situation and they started to fight. He made a wrong turn, then a left and a right. Now they was in a wooded area with not much light. How did all this go wrong? It was such a good night. Said she's gonna tell the bishop out of anger and spite. He said it's not a good idea to cause me this much strife. He should've told the truth and every lie got a price. But if it comes down to my wife, it's gonna be your life. Good night. All my niggas ride for me. I got niggas that'll die for me. You niggas ain't built like that. Run around talking like a thug when you won't bust a slug, man. Niggas get killed like that. Acting like you bang for the set when you ain't blood or cuz, man. Blood'll get spilt like that. Niggas saying really they the plug, but they talking to the judge, man. Get your cap peeled like that, cause niggas get killed like that. When you ain't built like that, you niggas ain't built like that. You was never on the block, you ain't never dodge a knock. You ain't never fought another crew holding down the park. You You ain't swam with the sharks, you ain't wrestled with the gators. You was never fucking poppin', you ain't got no fucking haters. Bitch, niggas like you make me watch out for the traitors. When you round some real niggas, mind your behavior. I will beat a nigga ass, then I'm laughing like I'm Jada. Get your fucking mind blown like a cartridge on a Sega. You niggas want attention, they don't want the war though. Talking all that shit, but you got a glass jaw, ho. They never deliver, they got that DiGiorno. This that Walking Dead flow, I eat a rapper torso. You ain't the same man once you off the microphone. You ain't never broke a bone, you ain't never had a scar. You a certified pussy, so don't make me pull your car. I'm a certified prophet, respected like the word of God. Cause you ain't got the heart, nigga, you ain't got the heart. You ain't bout to finish any beef that you start. You ain't never been a soldier, little nigga, play your part. Claiming that you'll spark when you ain't got the heart. Cause you niggas ain't built like that. Run around talking like a thug when you gon' bust a slug, man. Niggas get killed like that. Acting like you bang for the set when you ain't blood or cuz, man. Blood'll get spilt like that. Niggas saying really they the plug, but they talking to the judge, man. Get your cap peeled like that. Cause niggas get killed like that. When you ain't built like that. Run around talking like a thug when you gon' bust a slug, man. Niggas get killed like that. Acting like you bang for the set when you ain't blood or cuz, man. Blood'll get spilt like that. Niggas saying really they the plug, but they talking to the judge, man. Get your cap peeled like that. Cause niggas get killed like that. All my niggas ride for me. All my niggas ride with me. I got niggas that'll die for me. All my niggas ride with me. You niggas ain't.
Islam, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, come out 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And since 1969, we've been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians our true identity according to the Bible, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, or the Lord's chosen people. And according to these scriptures, the only people upon the face of this earth that the Lord gives a damn about. And of course, that our oppressor is nothing more than the devil that the Bible speaks of. Today is the Monday night history class. So we're going to be getting into something a little bit more different for this class. I'm saying, because we got to dispel a lie that is being taught to our people all across this earth, which is that when Christ returns, he's going to be returning to give out hugs and kisses and to save all nations on this earth that believe in him, when these scriptures do not say that. You understand? The scriptures, as we'll see, so that Christ is going to come to bring a sword. Paraphrasing, of course. So we're going to go ahead and start out in the book of Matthew, chapter 15 and verse 24. So you can see, or so you can hear Christ's own mouth who it is that he was sent for, who it is that he sacrificed himself for. Hey, young man, there's if you need a sword, they're back there on that top shelf. You see them to your right, the big ones. And if you shouldn't need an apocrypha, but grab one just in case. The little book on top, go ahead and grab you one of those as well.
What's the verse?
The book of Matthew, chapter 15 and verse 24. So we're going to be dispelling some lies today. some lies that have been, of course, taught to our grandparents, great-grandparents, and as well as ourselves. Something that further destroys our communities, along with a lot of other Christian teachings, as you well know. You got it?
Is it 1515 or 1524?
1524.
Come on.
All right. It says the book of Matthew, chapter 15, and verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And these words right here came out of Christ's mouth himself. He's saying he led the entire earth, but more importantly, he led the children of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. He let us know that he is not sent for anybody except for us. Because we are the only people on the face of this earth who has ever needed any kind of salvation. You understand? Ain't no other nation ever been living in hell the way that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians do. Ain't no other nation ever been oppressed as we have been. You know what I'm saying? It's always, our people that are at the bottom and suffering, living in poverty, not knowing their, identity. You understand? That's who Christ was sent for. And that just goes to show you how big of a liar the Catholic and Christian Church are. How big of a liar the Muslims are, because they'll sit there and try to dispel the same thing about God loving everybody, about Christ being not the Messiah and dying for the 12 tribes of Israel. That just goes to show you how big of a liar these people really are, because Christ let us know who it was that he was sent for. But yet we're still told this lie to this very day, and we still believe it. You know what I'm saying? We'll still fight and die for it. And that's why it's so important that the Lord established the Isupk and Command Johanna. Otherwise, our people would be continued to, be taught lies, be continued to, further be destroyed by our oppressor and his doctrines and philosophies. We're going to go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 37. So, and with this, we're going to see exactly, out of the 12 tribes of Israel, who it is that Christ is going to return for, who it is that the Lord is going to save. Because we've been taught so many lies about this book right here that we don't even know that the laws aren't done away with. You know what I'm saying? We don't even know that we're supposed to be following in the footsteps of Christ, or Yahushua Mashiach in the Hebrew, due to the corrupt pastors who have been leading our people astray ever since slavery. The book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 37. But as the days of Noah were, which Noah is Noah, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. And so just like the people of the earth were doing back during the time of Noah, and saying how it is that the Lord's chosen during that time were out here being drug addicts, we're out here being whores, drug dealers, we're following other gods, having interracial relationships. As they were partaking in all of this wickedness, and the people of today are doing the exact same thing. And just like that destruction came, when that flood hit this earth, and everybody was wiped out without even realizing what was going on, without even heeding to what it was that Noah was telling them. You know what I'm saying? They were just assuming he was some crazy nigga building a boat. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly how they view the UPK. You know what I'm saying? Just some crazy niggas, on the street corners, yelling at people being angry. You understand? But just like the Lord brought destruction to Noah's time, he's going to bring destruction to America. So he's going to bring destruction to, Russia and Africa and Middle East, to all these different countries who have oppressed so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Verse 38, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking. So just like in those days, the Lord's people, they were eating whatever they wanted. So they was out here eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, picking up snails and sucking them right out of their shells. Just eating any abominable thing that the Lord specifically told us not to eat. Not to go in the way of the heathens. And drinking, being drunkards, marrying and giving in marriage. That's a big one right there, because the main reason it is that the Lord had flooded the entire earth was because we were out here, because we found the daughters of man fair, and we decided to make marriages with them. It's just like we do today. And you can't find, you can hardly find a brother inside of America who doesn't have him, a daughter of Edom or a daughter of our oppressor, who isn't with, an Arab or an Asian, or desiring just the women of these other nations. So that's the same thing that was happening back then, and the Lord just destroyed the whole earth over it. So if he's going to do that just over interracial relationships, what do you think he's going to do about all of the wickedness it is that we're doing now? Until the day that Noah entered into the ark. So he was out here, sisters were being whores. Brothers and sisters were sleeping with oppressors, and just disgusting nations. That's all you can sum it up as. These people are just disgusting, and that's who it is that we desire. We say we were partying, being alcoholics, getting high off of Lord knows what, until the day that Noah sealed up that ark, until the day that those rains started, and our people looked up at the sky and talked amongst one another, saying, this rain don't look like it's letting up. You understand? These puddles are starting to get pretty big upon the face of this earth. And then those puddles turned into, one of the greatest things that could have happened. You understand? Which was that flood that wiped out all but 8 people who went out and repopulated the earth. You understand? It's crazy because Christian pastors do not tell us why it is that the Lord specifically flooded this earth. They'll just sit there and say, oh, well, we were just doing wickedness in the eyes of the Lord. Everybody was doing wickedness in the eyes of the Lord. But when you actually get into these scriptures, and when you get into these classes, you'll see that the Lord actually destroyed everybody because the people that he had chose, saying that the sons of God had decided to go out and sleep with another nation, to make children with them, and to exalt those children above their own people so that they can get some kind of personal gain. That's just one of many examples of, how the Lord is not with interracial relationships, how it is that he's not with, us being one with another nation. We're saying that's Christian philosophy. That's not the Bible. The Bible teaches separation. teaches so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that we are a holy people, a separate people. Verse 39, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. And that flood just came, swept through, swept through the little villages. And saying the small cities it is they've built with other nations. You know, saying swept away their riches and armies, swept away their government, swept away everything. You understand? So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. You understand? So just like back then when we were just having a good old time, just having another regular day of doing whatever the hell it is we wanted to do. You understand? Just like how we do that today. You can't talk to a Jake or an Eve at the slave without them talking about how it is that they're going to go party. You understand? How it is that they lust after a daughter of our oppressor, how they lust after an African or an Asian. You're saying you can't go a single day without that. And not even lusting after other nations, like cats now, they be lusting after other men's wives. You know what I'm saying? Like brides now got what is called like work husbands. You know what I'm saying? Some they got a really intimate relationship with at the slave that is they can mess around with. You know what I'm saying? And hee and ha ha with behind their husband's back. And then when they go home, it's just like nothing ever happened until the next day. I'm saying that like that's just how severely the Christian church has failed us, because that is utterly disgusting in the eyes of the Lord. You know, I mean, don't tell a UPK brother that you're doing something like that, because he's gonna look at you with utter disdain. You understand? It'll let you know how foul and vile you really are for not only messing with another brother's wife, but for sisters out here being a whore on your husband. And the same thing goes for if you try to talk about, a heathen nation. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Saying so, just like we're doing all that now, saying when Christ returns, saying it's going to be an utter surprise to us. When all of them chariots crack that sky, 200 million chariots crack that sky, and start raining hellfire upon this earth. You understand? When them mushroom clouds pop up in a city near you, we're going to be completely caught off guard. You understand? One moment you're having a good time, enjoying yourself, getting to fulfill all the desires it is that you've ever imagined, and then before you know it, there's just here comes that wave of fire coming to vaporize you and turn you into a ash chalk lumber. Verse 40. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken, and the other left. So the ones that are doing what it is like that the Lord told us to do, you understand, and following in the footsteps of Christ or Yahushua, so that's going to be the one that is taken up. You understand? That's not going to be the one that is left here on earth to absolutely suffer and to face all kinds of hell. You understand? Which that's something the Christian church somewhat teaches with their whole rapture doctrine, but they don't let us know the the guidelines of who it is that gets taken and who doesn't. So you can't just believe. You gotta You know, so you gotta walk how Christ walked. You know, so you gotta talk how he talked. You gotta have the same mannerisms that he had. You know what I'm saying? Because that's exactly what the brothers and sisters in the ISUPK do. You understand? We talk and walk and hold ourselves the same way Christ and his disciples would have. And so you can continue to follow those Christian leaders if you want to, but just know, saying you are not going to be brought up in no rapture to enjoy, naked angels up in heaven with our oppressor. You're saying you're going to be destroyed down on this earth. So that's why Commandant John Yohana has made it his mission to save every single Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian possible. You know what I'm saying? You got cats out here that are, bragging about not being part of the 2/3 that be destroyed by the Lord. You understand? But the real priests and prophets are going to put in so much work that we pray that the Lord change his mind. You understand? Pray that the Lord will show mercy onto the children of Israel, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and allow for our people to change their ways. You understand? Ain't no Christian pastor out here going to do all that. I'm saying it's far easier to lie to our people, just as they have been doing, than it is to try to change their ways, than it is to fight the people's demons for them. So we're going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 26 and verse 20. So that's why we got to get out of this Christian church, Catholic church, different religions, because they're going to do nothing but lie to us and lead our people down further destruction, just as they have been doing since slavery. So we got to stop ignoring the role it is that these Christian leaders play in our destruction, the role it is that they play in misleading and further indoctrinating us as a people. You know what I'm saying? We had a class, what was that, last week or 2 weeks ago, about weak leadership. So about these brothers and sisters out here that only care about themselves and fattening their pockets, while our people are being destroyed, while we're being forced into poverty and being incarcerated and murdered. And so it's time to get up out of that Christian church. And if anything, COVID-19 should have showed us that. Christian churches shut down everywhere. So, but where was that all-loving God to protect them Christian leaders and their congregations? You know what I'm saying? Where was that so merciful power that, doesn't have a violent bone in his body? You know what I'm saying? Where was he at? So, meanwhile, the ISUPK, we didn't have a single school closed down. Not a single person came into our classes and got COVID-19. They said not a single person collapsed from having respiratory failure. You understand? The Lord is with the Israelite School of UPK, and he's going to continue to be with the Israelite School of UPK. This is the book of Isaiah. What's the last? Yeah, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 26, and verse 20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers. So the Lord letting us know this is specifically talking to a certain group of people. That's why it said my people. You know what I'm saying? Someone specifically for the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And it's talking about us getting onto the chariots. So, and shut thy doors about thee, hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment. So the Lord's letting us know that when we get on these chariots, you understand, we better hide ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a Sodom and Gomorrah situation. You know what I'm saying? Don't be out here trying to look at the destruction that the Lord is going to inflict upon this earth. So because you might turn to a pillar of salt. You know what I'm saying? You might have some kind of horrific death. So that's why the Lord is telling us to hide ourselves, because something is going to happen that is going to be so terrifying that the most high power of this earth is going to tell us to hide. You know what I'm saying? To look away. Usually when someone comes back or when someone goes to save a group of people or a nation of people, they usually don't hide from it. So they usually don't find the best hiding spot in their village or city, find the best hiding spot known to man. They usually run to that savior. You understand? Welcome them with gifts. You understand? They don't seek to just hide away. So that tells you that when Christ returns, it's not just going to be, open arms, uh, embraces and kisses and gifts. You understand? And all kinds of blessings from the Lord. It's not going to be none of that. It's going to be an absolutely terrifying day on the face of this earth. It's going to be more terrifying than when the Lord flooded this earth. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know about you, but it's not a pretty thing to drown or to damn near drown. You know what I'm saying? It's a frightening experience. So just imagine just how terrible it's going to be when Christ cracks that sky. But yet Christian pastors don't tell us about this, huh? So they don't tell us how it is that we're going to have to hide. You know what I'm saying? When Christ goes to do his business on these other nations. Until the indignation be overpassed. Verse 21. For behold, For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquities. And those iniquities, it is that these nations are going to be punished for. It's going to be the crimes that they've committed against so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. I'm saying, like, it blows my mind. Like, even before I came into the ISUPK, you know what I'm saying? Before I looked into this book right here, you know what I'm saying? But it was just such a crazy thing to me that our people would believe in different powers that would not bring justice for the crimes done against us. It was just absolutely crazy to me that we'd be willing to live in an eternal paradise with nations that have stolen our land, that have raped just an absurd amount of sisters, raped an absurd amount of children and brothers, and murdered and slaughtered our people, spread diseases amongst our people, you understand, forced us into poverty, just done all these different things, you understand, enslaved us, you understand, fed us to dogs and crocodiles. How it is they've just done all these heinous things, and we're so willing to just join hand in hand with these people. We're so willing to go to a better place, living side by side with the disgusting bastard that fed, you know, saying our great grandparent to a goddamn rabid dog. You know, saying just willing to live side by side next to the person that gunned down our cousins. You know, saying gunned down our brothers. Like, That just goes to show you how Christianity, it's something truly satanic. You know what I'm saying? It's something that truly teaches you to hate your people. So I don't know about you, you know what I'm saying, but I would much rather burn in hell than to live in paradise with those that have destroyed our people. You know, I mean, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how you Christians will be, but to hell with all that. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather live next to the brothers and sisters who were, you know what I'm saying, fed to the crocodiles, fed the dogs, were malnourished on the Trail of Tears, you understand, who just slaughtered ruthlessly by our oppressor. But I mean, that's just the kind of integrity it is that the ISUPK teaches you. Is to not love your goddamn enemy. You know what I'm saying? To rather separate than to join to them, even if it means having eternal paradise. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. We're going to go back to the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 13. So right now we're just going over the kind of there's a caliber of people it is that, you know, would be considered to be, you know, saved. Which of course it's the Israelites, but it's the Israelites that are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? The ones who have found the ISUPK. And that's why it's so important that our people, once again, get up out of them churches. Saying, come to the ISUPK. You know what I'm saying? We'll teach you the Bible. Saying we'll teach you how it is you can get closer to God. You might not have a how do they call it, a personal relationship with Him. Saying speaking in tongues to Him. You understand? But or tongues in by the Christian church understanding. You understand? But you know, hey, we'll teach you how to serve the Lord around here. You know, saying we'll make damn sure that you do, because we actually care about our people in here. You know, saying we actually fight to get our people off drugs. You know, saying teach our people about why is the Lord actually flooded this earth. You know, saying we stop the murders within our communities, stop sisters from getting abortions. You know, saying we do all that. We do any and everything if it means righteously getting our people out of the condition it is that we've been living in for over 400 years. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 13. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. So them brothers and sisters in the ISUPK, who have sacrificed really everything. So when you talk to the brothers in here, so like you'll hear the stories of how it is that we've sacrificed slaves or jobs, how we've sacrificed large sums of money so that we can give resources to our communities. You know what I'm saying? And you know, get supplies to the schools so that brothers can get out to different areas to spread this truth. You know what I'm saying? How it is that we've lost family members, children have turned on us, parents have disowned us. You know, saying how it is that we haven't been to a loved one's funeral since we came into this goddamn school. Saying because if you go to a funeral, you can't do the work of the Lord for a week. And in this school, a week is a valuable amount of time. saying in a week you can raise up a goddamn city. You understand? Thousands of brothers and sisters, and that's just a few things. Like, like that's not even mentioning the um, the hate it is that we get from people in the world. So you've got brothers that have been attacked, you know what I'm saying, by mobs, have boiling water thrown on them. You know what I'm saying? Brothers have died for this truth, died for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And it's not even that, it's also the conditions it is that we go through as well. You know what I'm saying? Brothers be sleeping on basements for years just to build up a school so they can fish brothers and sisters out of the world. You know what I'm saying? Brothers go and face natural disasters head on in order to help our people. So, which I didn't even know about this until I watched one of Command General Yohannes Black Watch shows, like one of his videos. But you know, what I'm saying Captain Kahan Tamyad, him and the brothers out there in Florida, you know, what I'm saying that they had gotten a whole bunch of boats and went out there and were rescuing brothers and sisters who were stranded during Katrina. So we're bringing them food and water and lights and clothes, just bringing them all kinds of things to help them, during that hard time. So, but meanwhile, our oppressor was making sisters, strip naked in order for them to get on a boat to get rescued. So, our oppressor was sitting there and stealing food and water from brothers and sisters who were trying to hold out with their families until help arrived. Saying sisters were being raped out there, by the people that were supposed to be helping them. Like, you gotta thank the Lord for the Isupk. Because we don't rape, we don't murder, we don't steal. Instead, we show love to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We show our people how it is that we can love one another as a nation. You understand? And the Isupk for the brothers and sisters in here, you understand? When you endure all that, and so you take all that on the chin, of course, you take counsel if you need it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing is ever wrong with taking counsel. You know what I'm saying? You take all that, and if you do not drop your sword, you know what I'm saying, you'll see the rewards in the end. You know what I'm saying? You'll get the kingdom. You'll get to see, that place where blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians rule in the spirit of Christ. So, like I said, you gotta love this truth. So we go to the book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse 34. And now we're about to learn about what's going to be happening once Christ returns. And as we've said before, and as I'm sure everybody knows, how it is that the Christian and Catholic Church tell us that when He returns, it's going to be peace on earth, and so He's going to be loving everybody and talking about that personal relationship it is that y'all have had for 20, 30 years. You know what I'm saying? All that different kind of nonsense it is the Christian church spews out of their disgusting goddamn mouths. Saying, but we'll teach you the truth of what's going to happen when Christ returns. We're saying we'll teach you that He's not no goddamn sissified devil. like listen. Book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse 34. Saying, and the words we're about to read right here, you know, saying these right here are in red, which we all know that's probably the one thing that the Christian church got right by teaching us that the words in red are the words of Christ. You know what I'm saying? So there is no lies or mistruths being spoken right here. It's saying these words right here came out of Christ's mouth himself. The book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. So, right there, that already shows us that our so-called religious leaders have been lying to us this whole time. You know, this whole time they've been telling us that when Christ returns, it's going to be peace on earth. Everyone's going to get all their birthday wishes, completed for them. It's just going to be the happiest place that anyone could ever live. But yet Christ said, think not that I am come to send peace on earth. So if he's not coming to send peace on earth, then that can only mean one thing. I came not to send peace. So he lets you know the second time. And so he ain't here to make sure that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians can join hand in hand with our oppressor. So he's not here to better the lives of Africans or Arabs. You know what I'm saying? The Afghanistanians, I guess how you say it. They're saying he's not coming here to lessen their fears once the U.S. abandoned them and the Taliban took over the country. They're saying he's not here to make sure that their children aren't murdered and that they aren't tortured for being traitors to their people. He's not coming back to better the relationship between the United States and Korea and China and Russia and really damn near all of Africa. He's not coming for none of that. But a sword. You know what I'm saying? But rather he came to send a sword. You know what I'm saying? You only use a sword for one thing. You don't use it so you can play fight and kill imaginary soldiers like when you was a child. So I know we all did that. We all sat there and picked up sticks and slayed imaginary armies. Saying, but when Christ comes back, he's slaying literal armies. He's slaying every army upon the face of this earth. And not only is he slaying the armies, but he is slaying the civilians. He's slaying the children, the women, the elderly. He's slaying those that claim to be down for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You know what I'm talking about. We all know, 2 or 3 devils who claim to be down for the cause that got them, a brother or a sister as a husband or wife. Devils who were wearing Black Lives Matter shirts and sharing posts of protests talking about how good it is. We all know them kind of devils. But yet Christ, when he returns, he's going to slay those devils. You know what I'm saying? He don't give a damn about none of that. And I think the Lord, Christ is not no goddamn Christian in the modern sense. Because Christians in the modern sense nowadays, you understand, they will gladly join hand in hand and accept those devils who are such snakes who say that they're down for our cause, but yet they don't suffer as we suffer. So they aren't out there, getting shot or arrested, aren't getting beat half to goddamn death, getting bit up by dogs for us. But they're sitting on their couches, moving their thumbs a little bit, letting you know, hey, I'm here for you. But thank the Lord Christ, you understand, he has enough loyalty to his people to know that that's a snake right there. You understand, that right there is a goddamn devil. And that's something that all of us got to realize. We're going to go book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 29. And it would be such a beautiful thing if our people could just, look at history. You understand? Look at all of the devils who have claimed to be down for us, whether it's, missionaries from the church, it's like government officials, religious leaders, celebrities, like all these different people that have some kind of power in this kingdom, that have claimed to, be down with us in hard times it is that we faced in the past. Offer us to, well, I can't even say for us to realize that it was all a lie, because a lot of us don't even, it doesn't even register in our brains that this beast was lying to us. So we've been voting for a hot minute now, and yet we still cannot even we can't even fathom the idea that a politician would lie to us. We think because they give a promise that they're going to keep that promise. Goddamn. How simple can we get, man? I'm saying, how childish is it that we can really be thinking, to think that once someone says something, it's just set in stone. So just look at history. History will tell you what's the truth. It's as simple as that. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 29. It's like, book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened. So after, I lost my train of thought. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened. And so after the suffering, you understand, the hard times of, when Christ returns, you understand, it'll let you know that the sun will be darkened. And when it says that, it's not, like the sun is just going to go black. And all of a sudden, the light bulb and it just went out and it's a done deal, which the Christian church teaches our people, that after the believers are taken up, after they're raptured, that it's just going to be an apocalyptic world. That everything is going to forever be desolate and lawless. You know, saying people are just going to be acting like animals, and that's just the earth until the end of time. You know what I'm saying? But really, what that's saying is, after all the destruction has came upon this earth, you know what I'm saying, all of the, smoke from the fires, you know what I'm saying, the smoke from the nuclear bombs and the hellfire that is rained down from the chariots, you know what I'm saying, all of that is going to blot out the sun. So, and not just in, one or two spots, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna blot it out all across this earth. So that's how great the destruction is that is coming to this kingdom and to all the kingdoms of this earth. And the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from. It's like, and the moon shall not give her light. Saying that the smoke that is going to fill the sky, it's not just going to be up there for an hour, 2 hours, half a day. It's going to be up there for a set period of time. Because it lets you know that it's going to block out the sun and the moon. So it's not just going to disperse after the day is over. It's going to be there for a minute. That just shows you how great of a destruction is coming to this earth. I'm saying a good, I'd say a good example of seeing just exactly like how destructive it's going to be. Like all you have to do is when you look at videos of like when the World Trade Centers fell, you know what I'm saying, when them Arabs rammed them goddamn planes into those buildings, and how it is that smoke filled the city, you know what I'm saying, filled the sky. I'm saying it's going to be worse than that. So that was considered such a terrible day. That's something that even our people, we wouldn't allow for that to be forgotten. So we'll forget about the crimes committed against us, but we won't forget about that. So that's why it's such a good thing that a man like Christ was sent to us by the Lord, because he didn't forget about those crimes committed against us. So that's why it is he's gonna cause goddamn 30 million World Trade Centers to come down. You understand? Why he's going to cause such a terrible destruction upon this earth. And the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. So the world governments then are going to, collapse. So all these powerful individuals in the earth right now who run everything, so they're going to be brought down to the ground. So everything it is that they've ever depended on to further their riches or to build their empire, it's all going to be crumbling down. And even with all the money it is that they have, they're not going to be able to stop the Lord from destroying this place. Like, we hold our oppressor in such high regards that we really think that he'd be able to come up against the Lord, that he would be able to face off with the most terrifying power. You know what I'm saying? That's why, we used to call him terrible power. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is not no plaything. And no matter how much we look at that Caesar Borgia, or who it is that we now know as Jesus Christ, who is a false image of Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much we look at that, no matter how much we believe that God's love can change the galaxy and the atoms of every living thing, it's nothing compared to the anger and wrath of the Most High God of this Bible right here. And it's like the Lord, he's a straight gangster. That's the simplest way to put it. I mean,
You know, you know,
go ahead.
I ended up at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
When I came out, I had a vision.
Mm-hmm.
And what I seen is darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And a man with a flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a line of white people.
Mm-hmm.
And those scared, they pointing at the light. There ain't no stars.
Mm-hmm.
No moon. All darkness. But I don't know what he was telling them, but he kept walking up and down. And they were all scared.
Right.
That's what he's talking about.
Right.
They're all scared.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the faces still out there. They're all white people.
And Most High in Christ.
Well,
Yes, and Most High in Christ.
screw the other one.
You understand? Our oppressor thinks that he's, some indestructible, God on this earth. But COVID-19 showed him differently.
Other one.
Go ahead.
When you see their faces,
Mm-hmm.
they don't laugh together when they're scared.
Yeah.
They cannot see.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing they see is the light. And the one who's talking to them, all they can see is their faces when they point the light at them.
Right.
I just even hear what he said to them because I just saw the vision that I don't see.
Mm-hmm.
But ain't no moon, no stars, no light, no street lights,
Mm-hmm.
no lights on the cars, this houses, all darkness.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly how it's going to be.
Kind of,
You understand? Like you said, fear in their faces. You understand? That's that pride leaving them. You understand?
They're all white people.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't no Mexicans,
Right.
Indians, none of us are in the line.
Right.
There's a few lines, long lines, people on the back, all the way across the long line. The guy keeps walking up and down with the flashlight, there's another place, he's talking to them.
So that sounds like slaves, what you
I just don't
described.
understand what he's telling them because I just get back to life.
Right. Right.
I just saw the vision.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of true.
Most High in Christ. We're going to go to the book of Malachi, chapter 4, and verse 1. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 4, and verse 1. For behold, the day cometh. It's like the day cometh. You understand? That's something that a lot of our people can't wait for. That day, that they always talk about. And so they was talking about it during, 2000s or 2012. I think was it 2016? Like our people been talking about for a minute. That just as a special day. So a day where they will finally, be saved and brought up into heaven. You understand? But the Bible lets you know of an even better day. You understand? A day that Christian pastors have never told us about. And if they even, whisper a breath about it, it's not even the truth of it. The day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. So the day is coming to where everything is going to burn or gets in a goddamn oven. I mean, that's I don't know about you, but in UPK, that's a beautiful thing to hear. To know that the kingdoms of this earth, to know that their philosophies, that their governments, to know that the the children of the people that raped and murdered our ancestors, and saying to know that they are going to burn as if they were in an oven. So, like, we looked at the Holocaust and thought that it was bad with how they was throwing the Jewish man in the ovens. So just imagine the earth being one big oven, and all nations are going to burn inside of it. That's a beautiful thing, and it's truly a day that we cannot wait for. You know what I'm saying? And it don't matter, what brother it is inside the UPK. You know what I'm saying? We're all looking forward to it. It don't matter if, um, we got relations that are devils. You know what I'm saying? If our mother is a devil, none of that matters. You know what I'm saying? What at the end of the day, what matters is the salvation of our people. And the only way it is that we can be saved is if the nations, notice I said nations, that are oppressing us and destroying us, you know, saying as if they are destroyed, as if they are brought down low. And I thank the Lord that He is going to utterly destroy the kingdoms of this earth and the inhabitants of this land for our sake, for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It's a beautiful thing, man. We should be happy that a power, saying the Most High Power, is going to do that just for us. Saying He ain't gonna do that for nobody else. He don't love anybody the way that He loves us, because He is going to burn these nations for what they've done to us. I mean, can you imagine how great of a suffering that's going to cause these people? I mean, can you imagine them watching their entire family just burn and waste away? So they thought COVID-19 was bad. So over in India, they had to do massive raves, or slightly mass incinerations. You understand? They was over there throwing their gods into the rivers. Like that's a beautiful thing. The entire Christian philosophy will have us thinking that a mass incineration of these damn heathens is such a sad and terrible thing, but it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Because the more of them that are destroyed by the plagues of the Lord, it's saying that suffer at the hands of the Lord, and it's saying that's one less heathen to oppress our people, one less heathen to move into our communities, to steal our money, to molest our children, to abuse our sisters. It's saying to sell drugs to our brothers and sisters. That's one less heathen, and it's a beautiful thing. In the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts. You know what I'm saying? And hey, just like we're talking about, you know, so those people are going to be utterly burnt to a crisp. You know what I'm saying? Lord allow, there'll be ash outlines, just like when the Japanese got hit with them goddamn atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I mean, it don't get much simpler than that. I haven't seen once of how it is that day come and the non-believers burn. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen once that it says that the believers will be rescued, and how it is that everybody's wishes are going to get granted and will be reunited with, whatever wicked bastard it is we, mourn over. You know what I'm saying? They don't say none of that. But it does let us know that these heathens, they're going to suffer. So even that heathen that claimed to be down for us, that got sprayed with a water hose and the civil rights, and got hit once or twice with a club, by 25% strength by some devil cop. You understand? I don't see nothing about them, uh, having a good life. You understand? But instead, these other nations, they're going to be suffering. I mean, we can pray as much as we want. So we can cry and plead. We can try to bribe. Ain't nothing gonna stop the judgment of the Lord. They shall leave them neither root nor branch. And so it's gonna utterly destroy the the families of these nations. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna utterly destroy, the people throughout the land. You understand? Like a root is the like the main body. You know, so the families or the tree grows out of and branches off. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to destroy the elderly. You know what I'm saying? It's going to destroy the children, the great grandchildren, the great great grandchildren, the great 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 grandchildren, because these heathens get to live to be that long because they aren't the Lord's chosen people. We're going to go to the book of Joel, chapter 2, and verse 1.
What's the chapter?
The book of Joel, chapter 2, and verse 1. And you have to go to the front of the Bible, and it has the list of the books as well as the pages it is they're on, the table of contents. You see it?
What chapter was it?
Chapter 2,
Okay.
verse 1.
Verse 1?
Yeah, verse 1. This is the book of Joel, chapter 2, and verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Verse 2. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. And so what we're about to get into is, I guess you'd call it the role of the children of Israel after the Lord destroys the armies of these other nations, after he destroys their strongholds and their governments, destroys their treasured cities. So it's talking about, we're about to be talking about the children of Israel and what it is that we're about to be doing. A great people and a strong, there had not been ever the like. And so a great people, a mighty nation, who is strong that this earth has never seen before. I mean, like the what am I looking for here? I would say that the feats it is that we'll be able to accomplish, you understand, after we come up out of them chariots and get our new bodies. And so it's going to be something that this earth has never seen before. And so we're about to be getting into what it is that brothers are going to be doing, and we'll find out if it's going to be helping those who have been injured by the chariots that the Lord sent down to vaporize their goddamn families, turn them into ash and rubble. You know what I'm saying? We'll see if it's us providing medical aid to those who have radiation burns and sicknesses from the atomic bombs that the Lord convinced these heathens to launch against one another. And so we'll see what it is that is the role of the 12 tribes of Israel, and saying of really with the army of the Lord. We'll see if we're supposed to be all loving, providing aid, helping, kissing boo-boos and wrapping up bandages around people, or if it's going to be something completely different that, these religious leaders will never tell us. Neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. You know what I'm saying? So after we get done doing what it is we gotta do, you know what I'm saying, there ain't gonna be, no brother like the UPK at that time. You understand? We ain't gonna, be having these superhuman bodies just being terminators. You understand? Just being invincible. Because the Lord has a purpose for making us how it is that we're about to be going into. And when we describe these different characteristics, it's going to also tell us, what it is that we use these characteristics for. Verse 3, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. You understand? So we'll be moving through the lands, saying there'll be cities burning behind us, saying just death and destruction in our wake, and there'll be fires in front of us as well. Saying nations trying to, rebound from the destruction it is that the Lord unleashed upon them, only for Him to let loose the 12 tribes of Israel. So only for Him to let loose the Isupk under Commander General Yohanan. You understand? The brothers who have gone through Hebrew Academy, who have weathered the storm and faced different tribulations for being in this truth. You understand? And He's finally going to let us go and get justice for our people. He's going to let us establish our kingdom upon the face of this earth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, behind them as a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. So we're going to have our own chunk of land, that is, we do as we please. You know what I'm saying? That we'll build up to be the kingdom of heaven. You know what I'm saying? That place that it is that the slaves of America could only dream of. That it is that, we always talk about, but yet we never truly have a clue of what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, all the land about us will be absolutely destroyed. So that don't sound like, you know, not only does it not sound like an all-loving power did such a thing, but it also doesn't sound like it's going to be a post-apocalyptic world either. You know what I'm saying? This said, let me get it exactly. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be a place where everything is set in order. You understand? Where the best of everything is at. Where you got different uh, like districts or areas of supplies and resources. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that is, unorganized like a jungle or a forest. You know what I'm saying? That's why it says garden, because everything is put in the exact place that it needs to be. It's something that is in order. And you go look at post-apocalyptic, movies or descriptions of how it is everything would be. Is nothing is in order. So it's not a luscious area for people to prosper. That's why in every single movie that we watch, like the strongest colony it is that has ever been introduced, they're always hurting for resources. You understand? They're always having to go out and scavenge and just do underhanded things to try to get by in the world. You understand? But the Lord let us know that we're going to be in a beautiful area. It's an area that'll help us thrive and survive. And nothing shall escape them. So all these heathens round about us, and these heathens that have built up their militaries, built up their civilizations, their riches, they're not going to be able to escape the Lord's chosen people. I mean, I know we like to think that we show some mercy upon them and all that, and that we would accept those who are down with us. But at the end of the day, when this time comes, hey, I can't even say, Lord be with you if you defy the Most High God. You understand? Because these brothers that are subscribing that are mighty and strong, you rip you apart, I mean, we ain't gonna have a choice but to do what it is that the Lord has demanded of us. You understand? The Lord told us, you understand, that he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. You understand? He that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. You understand? That's what the Lord told us. And guess what? Every single one of these nations have led us, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, into captivity. He's killed every single one of us with the sword. Whether it was during the Greek period, the Roman, the Babylonian, Assyrian, Persian, during the trans-Sahara slave trade, the transatlantic, colonization of America, all of that. You understand? All of these people, they're going to suffer. Verse 4, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. It says we're going to be coming on to these other nations, coming into their lands. It's saying the reason they can't escape us, not only is it because the Lord's with us, but we're going to be running like horses. I mean, I don't know if you ever seen a horse run, but them mugs, I don't know a single human being that can outrun it. You know what I'm saying? Not even the fastest man on this earth can outrun no goddamn horse. And that just gives you an idea of how fast it is that we're going to be going. So we sit there and fantasize of being like the Flash when we were little kids. They said run around, blink of an eye, and all that. You know, so that's how we're going to be when we establish the kingdom of heaven. When it is that Christ comes back and destroys all these different heathen nations. Verse 5. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. So we're going to be leaping far distances. It's saying like a chariot on top of a mountain. You know, the sound will echo out further. So that's like just giving you an idea of how far it is we're going to be leaving. And of course, how it is that we're going to be ranked in order as a military, ready to just devour these heathens. And still ready to slaughter what little strongholds it is that they have left as they decided to come against the Lord and not allow for his chariots to vaporize it, or to not allow for them nuclear missiles to turn them into chalk lines. Verse 6, before their face the people shall be much pained, all faces shall gather blackness. You see, like the scriptures are just such a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like we can look all through this book right here, and not once is it going to say that every nation is going to be happy. You know, saying that they're going to be, lifted up and just put in the best possible scenario possible. And so it's letting us know that they're going to have pain on their faces. And so they're going to be pained from seeing their loved ones turn to ash, from seeing their children die from radiation sickness, from seeing their wives, their husbands, and their little ones being slain by the sword by these brothers that run like horses. It's by these righteous brothers, in military rank and order, fulfilling every and any lawful order that the man above them gives them. You know, it's just beautiful. Like, I couldn't imagine something more beautiful than the fact that, this Bible lets you know these other nations, they're going to be hurting, man. I mean, they're going to be suffering. It says all faces shall gather blackness. It says they're going to all be in a low state. It said we think our people are low right now. It said the Hispanic brothers and sisters locked up in cages on the border till this day. It said a sister having to breastfeed her child through a goddamn cage. It said the brothers and sisters who live in shanty towns and barrios not having hospitals, having to give birth out there. It said having to not get medical attention, not having the proper water treatment facilities and like, I want to say like a guaranteed food supply for them. It's saying brothers and sisters that have to eat mud cookies. You know what I'm saying? Like our people, we're living in hell right now. Say with the condition of these heathen nations, they're going to be brought lower than we are living right now. You know, so they're gonna have to go from the hell is lower than a mud pit. You're gonna have to go to snail slurp. You know what I'm saying? You know, so they're gonna have to chisel down rocks to be into the smallest possible pebble, put it in some uh, cabbage soup so they can get their nutrients up out of it. You understand? And rocks and water. You understand? That's the type of thing is these heathens are gonna have to go through. And I think the Lord, that some kind of judgment, some kind of justice is delivered to our people. And so we might think that's a bad thing that they got to sit there and starve and grovel and forage and you know just do things it is that they aren't accustomed to having. But it's a beautiful thing in the eyes of the Lord. Let me give. So before we cut out, I want to get one more scripture. Possible. All right, we're going to read the book of Revelations, chapter 2, verse 26, real quick. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works until the end, to him will I give power over the nations. And saying that's talking about the brothers in the Isupk, or the 12 tribes of Israel that choose to follow, the teachings of Christ or Yahushua. And if we endure the hardships it is that we went over earlier in the class, and we stay faithful to this work it is that Christ or Yahushua has endowed to us, he's going to give us power over the nations. So he's going to let us decide what resources they get, what it is that they're going to do with the resources they have. How it is that they're going to conduct themselves, what it is that they can and can't eat, what it is that they can and can't sell. Like, we're going to control every single thing about these disgusting heathens' lives. And it is a beautiful thing to know that we are going to rule over them. You understand? They're going to be our slaves. So that's why it is that we can tell them, do this, don't do that. You understand? You're going to get punished for this, and don't ask me why. So that's why it says, I will give. It's like, will I give power over the nations? I mean, these other nations, they're not going to have a say in a single goddamn thing. But who will is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They say more specifically, the 144,000, or the governing body of the children of Israel. Verse 27, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. God damn. And I mean, that's self-explanatory. And so Christ is not going to give us the power to rule over these nations just to cater to their every whim and to eventually slip back into allowing for them to rule over us as a people. But rather, we're going to rule them with a rod of iron. And so you use a rod to go to war with. And so you use a rod to fight with. To punish somebody with. And that's exactly what we're going to do to these heathens if they step up out of line. And the fact that it says a rod of iron, not just a rod of wood, but of iron. And it goes even further to let us know that they be broken to shivers. I mean, Hey, there's some brothers' plantations in the ISPK that I would not want to be on if I was a devil. I mean, hey, let officer, it's like an officer of 1,000 Isa tell it. Ooh, it's like I want to get the video flag from how terrifying that brother's plantation will be. You understand? Even as I received of my father. Since so with that said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up class. You succeeded. You succeeded. Says the ISUBK security announcements. We are the ISUBK. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. And the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. It means tenth in the Hebrew. Mayashua, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund. It's a free will offering for priests. It's not mandatory. It's whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. I'll let you know the next class where our next holy convocation will be. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or a war scarf. With that said, I'm Majum, which means a stand. With Punya, Hockey Dum, which means turn and face the east. Yep. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abba Nawu, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakutka, Daba'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathan, Lanawa, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Huawawafanawa, Hasalakanawa, Huawawafayanawa, Wala'a, Abayayanawa, Wanasayawan, Abba, Hawashayanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalaka, Waha'ala, Wadapara, Awalamyam, Aman. The Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Prepare for the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahawashah, Wam Yaka'ala, Wa Ala'ayim, Matazab Ya'ah, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapyam, Hazaranyam, Ha Kwatazayanyam, Ha Kayayayam, Waha Aquathiam, Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, the water Aman. We pray for the blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushua, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Sar, which means turn. We're going to give a salute to the brothers, men of Israel. Amajim Shabbat. Amajim. Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatam. That's my top. We're going to give a salute to the sisters. Amajim Shabbat. Amajim. Barak. Yahweh Shamar Al-Dan Hashem Yahushua. So you say Yahweh, Shamar, Al-Dan, Bahashem, Yahushua, which was Lord or God, watch over you in the name of Christ. Yazmatah, class dismissed.
When they come back to going to us.
What is that?
I'm coming back here again. Because I already